This is Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox.
Welcome back into this week's edition of Financial Straight Talk. It's all powered by Wadadley Financial Group with the founder, president, investment advisor, representative, and of course the star of the show, Mr. Jim Fox. My name is Kevin McAlpin. We hope you're having a wonderful weekend, and of course we thank you for joining us here on the show. If you're tuned in today, obviously you fit one of two categories, folks. You either have an advisor or you don't. And if you've never worked with a financial advisor, you're looking to get ready to plan for your retirement, well, pick up the phone. Give Jim and his team a call today. Get on his calendar. We do have teammates standing by on the weekend to schedule that complimentary, no obligation consultation. Now, all you need to do is give them a buzz at 321-414-7526, 321-414-PLAN, or online at getfst.com. And Jim, I will say this. You've been doing this radio show for how many years now?
Oh my God! What did we say the other day? Wasn't it like 7?
7 or 8 years, right?
Yeah, I don't even hear. Again, things just are screaming by. I can't keep track of this stuff.
It really is. And you know what I find interesting is Jim, you have maybe some of the most loyal listeners of anyone around. I mean, the folks here on the Space Coast, we know they tune in and week out. And again, I mentioned it earlier, you either have an advisor or you don't. And Jim, there's a lot of folks listening today that have never worked with an advisor. They've listened to this show for weeks and months and some even years. And you've had some folks recently that have gone, man, I've been listening. Now I finally decided to pick up the phone. So I'm sure that this is not a new thing. This is something you probably dealt with over the last handful of years, right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And listen, I think it's important. We'll actually talk to the people who have been listening for years right now. And I get it. I want you guys to understand, picking up that phone call, it's like that phone weighs 90 pounds, right? It's like a 90-pound phone. And making that call is like, oh, maybe I say I didn't save enough money and I just want to put my head in the sand, or maybe I'm not really sure if the timing's right, or maybe I have a guy and he's okay and maybe I'll stick with. Like, I get it. There's nothing fun about picking up the phone and just making a call to somebody you don't know. But listen, to those of you that have been listening for years, hopefully you hear the consistency, right? Mm-hmm. And the consistency is, let me just make it very simple for you. You're not going to walk through my door and I'm going to try and sell you a bunch of crap. Okay, that's just the reality of it. Okay, that's just the reality of what's going to happen if you come in here. And hopefully you've heard that time and time and time again. And if I was faking it, for God's sakes, it's exhausting. I couldn't do this for 7-8 years.
Right.
So pick up that phone. I get it. I understand that it's uncomfortable. But greatness happens when you're uncomfortable. What do I mean by that? I'm not saying by you calling me, all of a sudden the skies are going to part and angels are going to sing and light's going to shine. That's not what I mean. What I mean is when you start to gain knowledge, you will make better decisions. Maybe that decision is, wow, I've learned a lot, but Jim isn't the right guy for me. Go out and seek out the help that you want. But the point that I'm trying to make is this. This is your opportunity. You have a place that you can come to that you've heard for years and years and years say to you, we're here to help you. We're here to answer your question, but we're going to do it without that pesky sales pitch, right? Mm-hmm. How many times have I said it? This is your chance. Do me a favor. Pick up that phone right now. Call us. Get on our calendar. I give you my word. There will be no pressure. There will be no sales pitch. Let us help you on that journey towards retirement. Let us help you on that journey towards financial independence. Let us be a part of your story, even if we're not there at the finish line with you. It all starts with a phone. Pick it up. Give us a call, 321-414-7526. Again, 321-414-7526. 7526. That spells plan, guys. We all need a plan. Pick up that phone and give us a call. How was that, Kevin? Good? Did I do good radio guy stuff or what?
That was beautiful, Jim. It shows that this is not your first rodeo. Well, we'll have to go back and figure out what show number we're on here, too, as well. But you and I have an anniversary coming up here in just a few weeks. We're going to be together a year already. Can you believe it?
Wow. Insane, man. And again, time's flying by, right?
Yeah. Sort of the motto of this week's show, isn't it?
It really is. It really is. Absolutely.
Well, when it comes to time flying by, by, Jim. I know we've talked about some conversations that, folks should have with aging parents when it comes to finances, when it comes to future wishes. But Jim, let's talk about those listeners that might be tuned in today that have aging parents that haven't had that conversation yet. Looking at this article here recently on lifehacker.com said some of the topics should include, do they have an estate plan? Do they have a power of attorney? How will care be provided and paid for? So, Jim, obviously, these are all important questions. These are important topics. Is there anything, though, that you would like to add to that list?
Oh, yeah. Here's the reality. Every person that walks through our door, we talk about this plan, right? Mm-hmm. And this is just kind of, we actually call it an outline, right? Because it outlines what a plan should look like. Why? Because if you're not a client, I'm not going to make a full plan for you, but I'm going to give you an outline you can walk out with. And at the end of that outline, we have what we call the summary, right? The summary are all the things like, we think that you should reduce risk. You should do this. You should maybe consider this. Well, number 5. All right, the last point to what we talk about is always the same, and that is legacy planning. And I always tell people, it is so important that you understand. Legacy planning is not death planning, okay? Death is easy. If you die, I promise you, Kevin, your problems will end when you die for you, okay? You're not going to have to, you will have 0 problems at the end of your death, okay?
Right.
It's all the stuff you leave for everybody else that's a problem. To me, the biggest fear isn't death, although we have to have good, clean beneficiaries and those kind of things. The big problem is you get sick and you're unable to take care of yourself, or you need somebody to come around and help out. Maybe it's one of those companion services where they come 2 or 3 times a week to kind of help clean and, those kind of, maybe it's a nursing service who's there, every day. Maybe it's, you're in a facility. I don't know the answer to this, right? Mm-hmm. But I know that when these things happen, it is devastating. Now, a lot of times the way it works is men typically end up with dementia. This happens, I would say, more than anything else. Now the wife is trying to help the husband in and out of showers, right? So now the wife is getting hurt because she can't drag our big butts around, right? Think about this for a second.
Right.
So we have all these problems. So when I sit down with people, I tell them the easiest thing I can do is help you figure out when to take your Social Security. The easiest thing I can do is help you pick some investments. The easiest thing I can do for you is to figure out how to get an income stream. The easiest thing that I can do for you is to sit down and figure out how to be tax efficient. The hardest thing that I can do for you is figure out what we're going to do if you get sick. Mm-hmm. The hardest thing that I can do for you is to figure out how do we divvy up the money or whatever your estate is amongst a multitude of people that maybe you're not related to. Or if you have a child who is special needs, how do we prepare for that versus, 2 kids that are attorneys, right? Everybody has a different story. And nobody in my industry loves to talk about this. I need to be really clear. But in the end, legacy planning matters. It's not a matter of if you die, because you are going to die. What happens if you don't die fast enough is my biggest concern. So that's why we talk about estate planning. That's why we talk about long-term care. I do not sell long-term care in my office. That's not something that I do. It's not something I'm going to add to it, because what I find is a lot of times you spend a whole lot of money and you don't get a lot of stuff in return for it, right? Right. So we have to come up with long-term care alternatives. What other options can we do to generate long-term care dollars for you in the event that you need it? But heaven forbid, if you don't need it, that money translates back to a beneficiary for your family or whoever you're leaving the money to. This is what I'm serious. I lay in bed at night and I think to myself, how can we dial this in a little bit better for John and Mary? How can we make this work a little bit better? Because I was super fortunate, and I say this in every workshop I talk in, is that I was super fortunate. My mom and dad, Kevin, just kind of died. Yeah. And I know that sounds really kind of cold and harsh, but I'm really fortunate that my mom and dad just kind of died. Now, they did slowly over time, but it wasn't like they got to the point to where they couldn't help themselves to the bathroom or they couldn't get in a shower, right? So they finally, my dad's heart gave out and my mom's kidneys gave out, and it was kind of over with. Do you know how many people I see that are struggling with mobility, struggling with dementia and these kind of things? It is the one area I don't get paid for. Let me say that a little bit clearer for you guys.
Right.
This is the one area I don't get paid for, and this is the one area that most financial advisors don't get paid for. So guess what? A lot of people don't want to dig into it. While we choose that to be one of our big bullet points, we've got to talk about how do we do that, Kevin? Well, one thing, we try and meet your beneficiaries. We try and meet your children. We want to have a discussion with you and your children while you are capable of having that discussion. Mm-hmm. That's so unique and so different. We want to be a part of your planning team, helping you through this stuff. You got to make sure that you have a living will. You got to make sure that you have a Ladybird trust in the state of Florida. If you don't at least have a trust somewhere, these are the things that you have to do, and very few people do. Why? Because there's no incentive to a lot of folks in my industry having you do it, because we make $0 on it. That's the reason why. Mm-hmm. When you come into our office, we are going to check all the boxes. We're going to talk about risk management. We're going to talk about realistic rates of return. We're going to talk about tax efficiency. We're going to talk about all those little financial weenie terms that everyone wants to talk about, okay? When the dust settles and the good Lord's about to call you home, I need you to know that your estate's taken care of, that your family is taken care of in the most efficient manner possible. Heaven forbid you get sick. I want to make sure that you have the confidence that we can weather those storms. I don't know what that looks like for each and every one, because I don't know. Hopefully some of y'all have some long-term care that they bought a decade or two ago that's going to be great for them. But for the vast majority of us, including Jim Fox, we don't own those policies. And because we don't own those policies, we have to go out into the civilian world and try and buy a product that we don't really understand, sold to us by somebody who probably doesn't understand it either. And listen, if you don't have heart problems, go get a long-term care quote at the age of 60 or 70, and you will develop a heart problem almost immediately, and how much it costs, right? Mm-hmm. This is what I'm talking about. It's about providing people with a true plan, an understanding of how money's going to work, how money's going to work while you're alive, how money's going to work when you want to go on trips, how money's going to work when you get sick, and last but not least, how money's going to work when you pass away and die. That is a holistic plan. That is a full plan. That's something we take a lot of pride in setting up for people. And Kevin, I don't know if that answered your question, because I felt like I mumbled a little bit through this, but I want you guys to understand something. It's difficult, and it's difficult for a reason, because most people don't understand it. Most people don't want to put the time. They're not incentivized to do it. And I want you guys to understand something. It's something that we literally lead with. It's the last words that I say to you when you're walking out of my office is we need to establish a legacy plan, and we need to make this all make sense. Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, I get it. That's not fun. It's not exciting. It's not sexy. There's none of it that sounds good, but the reality is it's what we need to do. And it's part of that planning that we do each and every day. And if it's something that makes sense and something that you feel like is missing from your retirement plan, from your portfolio, from whatever you want to call it, pick up that phone, give us a call, 321-414-7526. Again, 321-414-PLAN.
They're not exactly the conversations you most look forward to when it comes to aging parents. But obviously, as you heard Jim mention, these are important topics when it comes to planning for your retirement. If you'd like to learn more about having that estate plan in place when it comes to putting your retirement puzzle together, again, the number to reach Jim Fox and his team at Wadadley Financial Group is 321-414-7526. We do have teammates standing by right here on the weekend to get you on Jim's calendar. Again, that number is 321-414-7526. You can also reach them at the website, getfst.com. You know what it stands for? It stands for the name of the show, Financial Straight Talk. Getfst.com. Well, Jim, we are quickly running out of time. And before we do, my friend, I'd love to leave the floor all yours for the final word.
Well, thanks so much, Kevin. Every week, guys, Kevin and I want to say thank you. We know that you have tons of options when it comes to getting financial information, and we're just honored to be one of those resources. So like you said, if there's anything we can do, pick up that phone, give us a call. We are standing by to help you out. But with all that being said, on behalf of myself and Mr. Kevin Mack, I want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on the Financial Straight Talk.
Thanks for listening to Financial Straight Talk with Jim Fox. To learn more, visit getfst.com.
Insurance products are offered through the insurance business Wadadley Financial Group. Wadadley Financial Group is also an investment advisory practice that offers products and services through Impact Partnership Wealth LLC IPW, a registered investment advisor. IPW does not offer insurance products. The insurance products offered by Wadadley Financial Group are not subject to investment advisor requirements. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal. Any references to protection, safety, or lifetime income generally refer to fixed insurance products, never securities or investments. Insurance guarantees are backed by the financial strength and claims-paying abilities of the issuing carrier. This show is intended for informational purposes only. It is not intended to be used as the sole basis for financial decisions, nor should it be construed as advice designed to meet the particular needs of an individual's situation. Wadadley Financial Group is not permitted to offer, and no statement made during this show shall constitute tax or legal advice. Our firm is not affiliated with or endorsed by the U.S. government or any government agency. The information and opinions contained herein provided by third parties have been obtained from sources believed to be reliable, but accuracy and completeness cannot be guaranteed by Wadadley Financial Group.